Alright, so my last attempt of tonight to get a classical Sicilian or a some kind of QGD. Not sure if I'm going for a Rogozin or a Janowski or what. Start with knight f6. e6, and now here's where they do not play c4, and once again, I'm very sad right now. How can we spice this up? Let's take away their bishops. Didn't work. Good move. Maybe I should have played queen b6, but whatever. Every game is a London or Trompowski. Never a complex struggle. I'm just gonna bring my pieces to the center and wait for them to do something. Or I'll get impatient and play like d6, e5 and give myself a bad position. I think I can play d6. If a dc5, dc5, knight d6, I just have rook d8 and their knight's pinned. So, no fork worth worrying about. I didn't want to give them the e5 square for their knights. I want to take on d4 at some point, I think. What happens if bishop a6? Do they have anything clever? Yeah, knight d6. Okay. Let's see what they're trying to do. Nothing. But I don't know what I should do. Let's move my pieces aimlessly. Possibly to an actively worse square. Not sure. That makes things a little more interesting. I'm going to try to play rook b8. There are actually some interesting tricks, like knight d6, rook d6, then they play e4, c4, my knight moves, they take rooks, and then they can take on b7. Alright, that was not their cup of tea. Play footsie with their bishop. I think I can play bishop a6. I don't see what tactic they'd have. Knight e5 or knight a5, I just take it. Knight d6, I have bishop f1. Hoping the b file is good for me. That's my claim to having something here. I probably do want to play d5 while I have the chance. But how to take back? I guess knight. Could also go rook. This is probably the wrong way. Yeah, slightly annoying. Make sure everything's defended. Then I guess play knight f6 and grovel. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking he really should get better positions against these d-pawn specials if he's going to slag them off so much. But disagree. It's about hating them. It's not about playing well against them. The disrespect is what matters. I'll threaten a cheapo on b3. But also my knight might activate to c4. Knight b3 just works, right? Yeah. Alright, the lesson we've learned is cheapo everyone all the time. Alright, I will mess up their pawns. I guess queen e5 or queen f4. I like queen e5. Hit b2. Their d-pawn's pinned. Rook b2 or queen b2? Try queen b2. Their queen can come to c4, but then I was gonna maybe play queen b4. Ah, okay. Well, this is easier. Okay. Let's block their knight coming to c4 and maybe play rook d4 myself. Don't give them anything. This is the dream. My king will blockade, then I will play rook c8 and rook d4 and pick up the pawn. Nope, they found a way to stop this. Okay. I'll take the other pawn. That knight's pinned. That means I feel like I should have something, but I don't see it. Let's attack it. Maybe play rook h4 to h2. Grab their pawns while they grab mine. They can't grab f6. Where's the knight going? Not there. Gotta speed up, of course. Because when has that ever not been true? Alright. I believe that is 1 for 1. A much better start than last video had. But can I face someone who plays an open Sicilian or a Queen's Gambit? It seems so possible. And yet, it has never once happened. Alright. I was enjoying knight f3. Let's delay moving my central pawns until they've revealed a bit more of what they're doing. Maybe e4. Think about e5. I think e5 first is best. I can win a pawn, so I should. I thought a bishop d7 to c6 might have been best for them. I don't think I want to play d4 immediately, because bishop b4 is kind of annoying. I'm going to play bishop b5. If they haven't castled, I like trading this bishop for this knight, or preventing kind of bishop f5, knight b4 ideas. Now I think I have time to castle. a6, okay. Now I have a pleasant center. Keep everything controlled. Knight b4, bishop a4, I guess. Knight d5, queen retreats, should be fine. Knight b4, they do threaten bishop d3, but I'll play like rook d1 or something. Now they're playing very active chess. I like how they're handling this. I like my position. I should have played bishop e8 probably, but they don't really have a way out that they want to take, so I guess we'll take it this turn. I'm on d5. They can still maybe play bishop c5 because of bishop f2. No, they can't give up 2 pieces for the rook. Idea b4, though I don't want to concede knight c3, so I gotta be careful. Let's make sure I've got everything under control. b4 seems useful. Maybe they can play a5. Probably play knight d4. Say you can have that pawn if I can shatter your structure a bit. Feels like I'm conceding a lot of ground there. What if queen e4? Ask the knight what it's doing. Maybe they just take on b4. Yeah, rook d5, bishop d5, queen d5, ba3. That's annoying. Okay, you got the pawn. Well done. They want the endgame. Well, I have to believe I have good chances here. Up an exchange. Okay. Knight b5 at some point I should play, I think. Let's go for it now. Their bishop's hit. and I'm hinting at knight c7, which I think forces a little awkwardness from them. Okay, let's just take, come back, and then play rook d7 and rook b1 in some order. Probably create left at some point as well, h3, just so I don't have problems later. The knight does defend well. But my rook is also annoying for them. Yeah, they just want to trade it. Let's keep active. Maybe f4 coming. I like f4. Maybe the bishop can swing around to hit the other way. Their knight's still tied to b7 and they can't really move much. Okay, so do I want to play bishop c5 or bishop b6? I think bishop b6. Sort of hint at rook c8 and force a trade of my bishop for their knight. I wish a rook e7 followed by bishop d8 was a winning endgame, but it is not. They're doing a smart thing, trading pawns. If we trade all of the pawns, this is, I think, a draw. Let's keep my king on light squares just for simplicity's sake. I should play rook c8 at some point, I think. Or maybe rook h7, do it this way. No, that's probably not the way to do it. Don't like how I'm playing this. I'll try to bring the king to d5. Is not e6 a threat? Okay. Alright. Got there eventually. But, poor technique. 2 for 2. And will I ever get an opening I desire? No. Okay, we're black. We have a chance at it. And we did not get it. But let's go for, maybe they'll play d4 at some point. No. Okay. We'll still treat it in a QGD fashion, though this is well out of my wheelhouse, because the lines I'm kind of thinking about are bishop b4 and a6, and those don't make much sense here. I don't think they should capture this early. I think it's kind of easy for me to blunt the bishop on the long diagonal. This makes sense. Think about e4. That's the pawn break for them now. But in general, I think maybe h6 first. They've played not very pressuring chess, so I kind of think I have time for this type of move. Maybe I should play a5. b5, I think I can go c5 actually. Because again, they don't have a lot of stake in the center, and that gives me a little more room to play ambitiously than I might normally have. e4, I can probably just take it. c4, now their other bishop is not looking so hot. Do we close it down? Do we play b6? Close it down. I can't go there. Alright, let's make sure my pawn's defended. They should play e4 maybe, actually. If I let this go astray. I made problems. Queen f3 here. I think I can take on e4, but I'm not sure. Okay, not queen f3. They want that pawn. Hard to hold on to. A little for a turn, though. Bishop f6, knight c4, I don't have bishop d4 due to rook d1, I don't think. So let's just make sure knight b6 isn't a threat afterwards. They got a pawn. They got a clean pawn. For sure. Their other pawns are a little loose, though, I hope. That's probably a good way to take it. Yeah, it is. Okay. They have fixed their pawns nicely. This was well played. Keep my pawn defended, but now my pawns are on dark squares, so their bishop's pretty active. Maybe my bishop has a decent post on c5. They can play rook d1. Queen probably comes to e6. I think still comes to e6. Make sure they can't open this diagonal. I would love bishop c5. That would feel very freeing. But I think they can play, say, rook d1, bishop c5, queen d7, and I do not like my position. So maybe against rook d1 I have to try to go more active. I can. Let's go for it. If rook d2, I can't insert bishop c5 as an in-between move. That just loses to queen d8. So I'm not sure. Oh, they hit my bishop, but do I have a trick? Queen takes, rook takes, bishop c5. I hit b2 and f2. Bishop d4, rook d2. Rook d8, king h2, bishop takes... No, my bishop's in the way. I think this works. Let's try it. Bishop d4, rook d2. This is my hope. They can get a bunch of pawns. So I make no claim this wins or anything. But looks good. Does look good. Alright. I think I should play rook b7, make sure they don't get the connected pawns. It'll be hard to pick up another pawn here, though, if they play bishop c3. Or this, sure. Alright, let's get my king involved first. It does give them time for a4. Not sure what I'm trying to do here. Am I trying to draw, or am I trying to win? I don't know. Probably draw. Because they can sit, and I don't really ever have a thing to do. 5. I can block them making progress, though, I think. So. Threaten rook h2. Maybe there was a sneakier way to do this, but now they can't save the pawn. So now I have winning chances. And their king can't move. Threaten rook e5. Can I tempo this so that they play bishop g5 here? No. They're too clever. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Alright, just a draw. They are familiar with the move the king directly backwards technique, which will be good enough to secure them one draw. Alright, interesting game. I think that's 2.5 out of 3, but I don't remember. The important part is, can't go 5 for 5. But can I get an opening? Sicilian? Ooh, can we get an open Sicilian? No, of course not. Never will we ever. I, of course, don't know what I'm doing here, but I know you're supposed to take back queen, because the knight has better path on c6. Probably should play knight c6 first, so that d4 they don't have queen d4. Queen d4 looks kind of annoying. Alright. Probably not so big a deal. I just play knight f6, and they don't have them. Bishop b5, which is usually the tricky thing white can do in that kind of line. Okay. Looks like a pretty normal position. of a dragon nature. But where white... I don't think f3 is necessary. I'm going to try to play a rook to c8, not sure which, and knight e5 to c4. Let's play this one, just if they have dreams of bishop h6. I do want to keep my bishop on. I think people underrate how good bishops on e3 are, and often get really scared of bishop h6 when bishop h6 actually helps you, because it trades their better bishop for your not quite as good bishop. But I think here, with the dragon bishop, it is good enough. Play a6. Try to get c-file pressure, though. Can't blunder knight b6. If their knight moves, they threaten knight b6 again, so I gotta be careful. Okay, let's go for b5. Probably rook c1. I'll probably play knight ft7 to make sure I have these squares under control. Okay, now I do not want to. So I don't want to give up d5. What do I need to trade to free this position? I don't know. So bring the rooks to d8 and c8, I think. And then reassess. Is a move like h5 useful to have played? Probably a little useful. So if I can't think of something to do... Alright, let's make sure bishop b6 is never a problem. Let's come here. I like that they can't play rook c1 anymore. I can play b5. c3 is loose. But they tried to play rook c1. Alright, I was threatening b5 there because they couldn't take because of queen c3. So actually, I did have a point here. I want to play knight d7, but it concedes knight d5. So let's play rook c8, try to play b5. I've done a lot of moving the pieces to the same squares this game. So they want to play bishop f6 followed by knight d5. Is queen c5 at all annoying to that? So I'm on d4. Maybe I come to a5. Let's be on c3. Make b5 a real possibility. Knight d5, queen d2, knight e7. No, I'm fine there. What? Alright, got this one. I think that's 3.5 out of 4, but if I lost the second game and forgot about it, it happens. What I like about this game is they gave me hope I'd finally get an opening I was interested in getting practice in, and then they tore it away from me. We will claim victory. I like that Lichess has new buttons for that. I've accidentally claimed a draw in a victory position, and I used to just refuse to click anywhere near there, and I'd wait for the time to run out just to make sure I didn't misclick again. Never will we ever get a classical Sicilian. This move's supposed to be good, I think. I don't know why, though. They gambit everything. Alright, what if I hit d4? Okay, let's see it. I'm going to move away from castling. I feel like they'll play queen d2 and castle queenside. Incorrect, per usual. Okay. I'm probably going to play bishop g4, maybe bishop f5, but I think bishop g4. I'll swap if they demand it with h3. h3 in general makes it a little harder for them to rook lift, so I don't mind making a slight concession, because I feel like h3 from them is a slight concession. Alright, rook c8. Maybe knight a5 to c4. Maybe knight b4 to d5. These both seem like plausible things to do now that I have concluded development. I don't mind my position. I don't think I'd mind it if I wasn't up a pawn. Like, give them a pawn on c2 and it seems okay. So I feel it has to be pretty good. I don't think I want to play e6 ever. I think bishop g5 type stuff gets annoying after that. But I'm not worried about them pushing the d-pawn, so I don't really think I have to unless I feel this bishop is exerting pressure on the diagonal. Let's chase it. They clearly would like to keep it, and so I will try to get rid of it. They might have knight e5 now. Yeah. Is it such a big deal? I can't spend a turn on a6 or something because they have rook f6, so I do have to respond to this. I don't think I need to be afraid of knight f7. I'd like to insert a6 at some point, just so if I take on b3 and they take back, they're not hitting a7. Like, I don't want to have to respond in some inopportune moment. Alright, let's take on b3 first, because they have to respond to that, and that gets rid of an attacker. Then I'm going to take, they will play bishop h6, threatening queen g5. And I will have to figure out something to do. I'm not sure what. Oftentimes you'd want queen d4 to like g4, but their knight defends that square well. I think I really need to evict their knight. And this seems a useful way to do it. If knight g4, fg4, bishop h6, I will play f6, stopping queen g5, and maybe preparing rook f7. That's as far as I've calculated here. I would guess my position is winning or lost. And I would guess winning. Or like large advantage. But it can be hard to be sure. Maybe my queen has access to defensive squares now. Like if knight e4, queen g6. They could just go grabbing on a7. I'm not sure that's ridiculous. No, I don't think I mind this. Not give them queen d4 takes a7. Just why give something when I don't think I have to. This might be disastrous. They have rook f5. Why did I do that? I don't know. They should play rook f5. Yeah, now I have to play f6. Ugh! What was that? Nope. What am I doing? What am I doing? Why? Why any of the moves I'm making? Alright, let's play queen g6, hope for rook h6, queen g5. Because I should be able to clinch that one. Too clever. Okay, okay. Alright, king g7. If, many things, I will play f5. Though queen e2 hits e7 as well. I'm glad they played queen e1, not queen e2, because I think queen e2 might have given me much worse problems. Now I have time for both this and f5 and rook h8. Yeah, so now I can play rook h8, because on rook g4 I have queen g4 and the pawn is pinned. I have to take back king, though. They can play queen h4 and take g4, but then I'm threatening rook h8, so they can't really take. Unless they want to trade queens, which they do not want with 7 seconds left in a busted position. They can't take that back because of rook h8. Yeah. Alright, activate the king. And got them on the clock. Alright, I think this was a pretty good session. I do think... let's give them a rematch. I do think it's pretty funny that I haven't gotten any of the openings I was interested in getting in now over 15 games of Blitz. Can I play cd5? Ah, we're gambiting. Okay. Don't want to give them e5. They think they have it anyway. Let's make sure that more pieces are traded, I guess. That seems like as plausible a reason as any to make a move. They can play, okay. So knight g4. I guess just king e1. They get a pawn back, but I'm up 2. How bad can it be? Maybe bishop d2 to c3. I just remembered I can't castle. My next thought was, maybe I should get castled quickly. Okay. They probably should have castled this. Now they have to play like king e7, yeah. Hit their good knight with this nice central knight. Slowly unwind. Maybe rook c1. Oh, they're going to play knight d3. That is annoying. How do I deal with this? What about knight b3? Idea to come to d4 because they don't have a pawn that can contest that square, and it does block the d-file. So I think this was a good maneuver. I will now be proven wrong, but I like it as an idea. Okay, take that, and I think play king e2, because I think everything is defended. And try to play rook d1 and rook c1. I was hoping for a knight f5 check, but they have now stopped that. Alright, maybe bishop b4 check at some point, because that grabs the knight. Yeah, they saw it. Let's not give the knight a path to somewhere annoying. Still should probably play bishop b4 check. Okay, I can't. Maybe knight b5, threaten knight d6 check. Is bishop d4 any good? Bishop d4, if bishop takes, I might have knight c7. And if I don't, I can always take back knight, and then my rook has access to c7. So I think whether or not I have knight c7, this is strategically good. Do I have knight c7? Knight c7, king f7, knight e8, bishop where? I don't know. I kind of don't want to risk it because knight d4 is just like a good position. I just play rook c7, but I don't see the problem. And when the bishop retreats, I'll always have knight d6 check as a way to get my knight out. So yeah, let's go for it. Bishop b2, even rook d8 is possible. So, I don't know. Okay. Alright. It all worked. Rook c7 is my next move, unless they play rook e7, which they probably should. Let's try to play b5 so their knight doesn't have this nice c6 square to sit on. Looking to play b5 and rook c7. Just going to try to force it through, brute force. That makes sense. But I don't think it stops me. And I'm going to invade with the rook. They have knight d4, but then king d3. I should win there. What is most precise? I'm going to try to be fancy. Ah, they don't want it. Interesting. Okay, but doesn't their king now have only awkward squares to go to? Oh no, they can come to e4. Okay. I missed this. Let's pin the knight. If rook b2, I'll try to come to g2. I'm playing too slowly. Ah! This went very bad. How did this go so bad? I'm too slow, among other problems. Alright, I gotta take the knight and get behind the pawn and hope I can make the queen. Yeah. King f3, I'll play rook f1 to f7 and defend the pawn the other way. No, I don't want to take that pawn. Ah, that was terrible. What am I doing? Okay. Ah, this is just, yeah, just a loss. Okay. I can safely resign, but won't. I think I'll call that a video. Shame I blew that one, because this is obviously a wonderful endgame where I walked his king up to destroying me. But I can just, like, for instance, take on h7, and there's no problem with the checks. My king is a nice square. I'm just up 2 pawns in an exchange. I just wanted more, and really bad technique. Anyway, seems a good place to call it a night.